Hi everybody, thanks for tuning in. Nothing fancy here with another knife review on what I think is a pretty formidable tactical knife, i.e. defensive blade, fixed blade, and that is this knife right here, Peacekeeper 2 by Cold Steel. I'll start off by just glancing at their catalog from 2007. This is a Special Projects Cold Steel catalog number 33 from spring 2007. You see my little note there to myself about big price increase. Yeah, it was. 2007, last year, their knives went up in price. Real big bummer. However, I did put a big order in before that went through, so I was happy about that. Cold Steel does a really good job with their catalog. Why is that? Well, one, they show the product so nicely. Here's a Peacekeeper 2, which we'll be talking about. This is under the category of combat classics. In other words, these are designs that continually sell quite well for Cold Steel. They don't need to hype them up too much because they just kind of sell on their own. They do change the steel quite a bit, which we'll talk about here in a sec. But their catalog is nice. I've talked about this before, but Cold Steel just does such an awesome job on their catalog because they show the product, they give all the specifications, not much is left to imagination or mystery, I should say, and then they also have a good write-up on it. Granted, there is some hype that probably isn't true in some of their write-ups. However, in this one, let's see what they say about the Peacekeeper. Our double-edged Peacekeepers come razor sharp, will pierce like a stiletto, cut like a razor, made of super tough 4116 Krupp stainless with a sub-zero quench, whatever that is. They are ideal companions in any type of threatening situation. That's the Peacekeeper series, both the 1 and the 2. We'll talk about both of them. So in that situation and in that write-up, i.e. copy for the knife, in their Special Projects catalog, I agree with it. This is actually a very good companion in a threatening situation, the Peacekeeper 2. I'm sorry, Peacekeeper 1 in this situation. I'm a big fan of them, mainly because they're so lightweight too. Both the Peacekeepers, for what they are and what they offer us, are lightweight. When you talk about weight on a fixed blade knife, let's talk about the sheath and the blade, by the way. Let's don't separate them because you're not going to carry this alone. Obviously, they go as a package. So this package, as I have it configured, is just under 12 ounces, 11.7 if I'm not mistaken. Actually, it might be a little bit more because I have a tek-lok fastener affixed to this sheath, which I'll talk about in a sec. But first I'm going to talk about the blade and the knife itself. The Peacekeeper 1 is the larger version. It has a 7-inch blade. This version, which I bought several years ago, comes in 420 stainless steel, not their newer steel. This, in my opinion, the 420 stainless steel is not a great steel in other knives I've had it in. Now granted, Cold Steel will go on and on and on about how they sub-zero quench their blade and how that makes for a finer grain structure, a more durable blade. And that may be true, I'm not so sure. I haven't used this knife hard, but I have used an OSS in the same steel, the 420 stainless steel, rather hard in the wilderness, and it held up quite well. I was surprised. So, and this has the same steel. But keeping in mind the role of this knife, and the role being a fixed blade defensive knife, the 420 stainless steel or the I can't even say it, what is it, 4116 Krupp, it really doesn't matter. This is a knife that you would sharpen, razor sharp, like I've done with this version, and carry it a lot, maybe use it infrequently. Therefore, the durability or the ultra quality of the steel, maybe, I hate to say this, but maybe isn't like paramount, the truth be told, because this is not what I would term a survival knife. This is a defensive blade designed for killing bad guys, if the truth be told, to put it bluntly. And I think the Peacekeeper 1 would do it quite well. The blade, like I said, 7 inches long, 420 stainless, adequate for the purpose, has a fine grain structure. As it comes from Cold Steel, it is sharp. However, maybe you've seen some of my other videos, sharp isn't sharp enough for nothing fancy. I like them razor sharp, and so I've totally changed the geometry on these both edges and had them backed up a bit, so I have a shallower geometry, so it comes to a razor sharp edge on both sides. This is shaving sharp as it is right now as you see it. And I think that's how you want this blade. That at the very slightest nick as we do our sweeping motion, we can inflict damage. Heaven forbid, but that's what this knife is for. It's a defensive fixed blade tactical knife. We want it to be able to perform its function well. Therefore, I think it should be razor sharp. Has a bead blasted finish on it, which I think is handsome. Works well. Got the Peacekeeper logo right there. Little letters here say made in Taiwan. This is another good example of if quality control is good, we don't care really where it's made. Taiwan, Hong Kong, Japan, doesn't matter. As long as the quality control is good, the blade can be good. So I'm pretty happy with the blade. Specifics about the blade shape, it's not an actual straight edge or double edged straight dagger, kind of like the Boker Desert that I reviewed. If you notice, it actually has, a Peacekeeper kind of has a leaf shaped blade to it, that there's some belly right in this portion on both sides of the blade, which in my opinion is a great addition because it gives it more belly as we slash. Since we're not working with a straight edge, we're actually working with a curvature radius. It can actually slash quite well, in addition to piercing. It has a nice reinforced tip on it as well. So I think it's an excellent blade shape, the Peacekeeper series in as a whole. I like it a lot. How about the handle? Handle is made of craton, which is a rubber. It's nothing special. Does have some finger guards here near the hilt. Yes, they're made of rubber. I'm not sure, I don't think there's any steel reinforcements in them. So if you're counting on these guards to maybe entrap a blade, heaven forbid, that you're fighting against, I think another blade coming down here would chop these suckers right off, and therefore probably chop your fingers right off. So not so much protection in that fashion. However, they do function in that they would prevent your hand coming forward in a thrusting attack, and that's their main function, and they do that, I believe, quite well. Good checkering, like Cold Steel normally does. They get their checkering right on their craton. It's a very secure purchase. A little bit narrow through here, but I don't mind it. My hands again are a little bit on the larger size, but I find that I can grasp this Peacekeeper 1 and have real estate left over. It's a 12¼ inch package overall. Got a grommet hole there if you want to put a lanyard on it, which I generally won't do on my fixed blade knives. I find it gets in the way more than anything. And it's lightweight. It's about 8 ounces for the knife. Again, just under 12 ounces. Let's talk about the sheath. This is a Securex sheath. It's plastic, which is fine by me. Kydex plastic, I prefer that variety of sheath. Just like the Nimmervis by Benchmade I reviewed, this has a lot of great lashing points. Has a grommet holes we can lash 550 cord with. Has vertical elongated holes for nylon straps. As the knife sheath comes, and I don't have it on currently to show you, is it actually has a nylon strap that goes around your belt. What I've done is taken that off, and I've affixed a large tek-lok fastener to the back of my knife because I think it gives it a lot of utility, and it locks it in place on my web gear so it doesn't flip-flop around. The reason that's important is because you want to have that blade locked in position and in a very consistent place when you draw for it. So if you're on your back hip, you don't want to have it shifting around. Your muscle memory's got to be the same. Every time we grab it, it's in the same position. This is a defensive blade. When you grab this knife, you're going to be in a hurry when you do it. So good job on the sheath. It locks the blade securely. It's lightweight. It's tough. It drains water well. Won't retain water. I love it. Real quickly, as usual, I'm running out of time. Here's the Peacekeeper 1. I'm sorry, Peacekeeper 2, the shorter version. All the same things go. The only critique I'd add is the handle is short on the Peacekeeper 2. My larger hands, I run out of handle material. I would have liked them to make the handle a little bit longer. This one's sharpened just like its bigger brother. It's very deadly. Securex sheath, plastic. This one comes with a nice clip that you can put in web gear or somewhere. You could probably affix it to your LBE to go vertical on it. This is an older Peacekeeper. This one's in carbon 5 steel with painted exterior, also sharpened, razor sharp, great knife. Little handle's a little narrow. That's the only thing on the Peacekeeper 2. So in summary, the Peacekeeper series is a lot of defensive knife for the money. It's a tough, lightweight, deadly package. For 40, 50 bucks, you can't beat it. Nothing fancy.